not only a safe and healthy athletic environment for our kids, but provided them with the opportunity to once more play the games they love. No one will ever truly know the behind-the-scenes efforts that you all put forth this year with locker room rotations, bus seating assignments, mask wearing enforcement, and I truly thank you for that. So here is how our awards ceremony will proceed today. Each of our teams will be recognized in the order of the seasons that were played this year, which means winter teams will be recognized before fall teams. When each team is called, each of our coaches will say a few words and then name their 3 Coach Award winners. All 3 Coach Award winners will then come to meet their coach at the podium to receive their awards. The coach and the players will then go to the end of the stage in front of the American flag where Mrs. Pirelli will take your picture. All of you right now are sitting in the audience with your masks on. When you come up to the podium and receive your awards and go to take your picture, you are all free to take your mask off for the picture, only if you're comfortable doing so. If not, keep your mask on. But when you return back to your seat, you need to put your mask back on, okay? So again, once the coach comes up, the 3 Coach Award winners will come up at the same time, walk over to the flag for your picture, and then I ask for all the Coach Award winners and the coaches to please walk up this aisle to return back to your seat. Please don't walk in front of the podium because we're going to be walking up the next coach to announce the next Coach Award winners. So now let's get started with our program. I would like to call up Mr. Spooches, the coach for the girls' 7th grade basketball team, to present his Coach Awards. I do need to mention 2 things. We only received our plaques this week, which I'm very thankful for. And it took my secretary and I to put the plates on all the plaques to have them prepared for today. We did have a couple plaques whose plates were misspelled. So we will have 1 7th grade girl for basketball and 1 8th grade boy for baseball who does not have his plaque today. We are still going to call you up, we're going to acknowledge you, and we're going to give you a blank plaque so that you can take your picture. But I do promise you that the plates have already been ordered and you will receive your plaque before the school year ends. Okay? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Spooches, coach of the girls' 7th grade girls basketball team.
How are we doing, everybody? Coach Valiendo could not be here today because he's at the varsity playoff game outside. So he's actually coaching the boys varsity team and hopefully a playoff win today. So I know him and I spoke before. He does wish he could be here for the girls and supporting you guys, but unfortunately that cannot be the case. Really quickly, so 7th grade basketball. We had a combined team this year. 8th grade, we didn't have enough girls. For the 7th grade, they showed the courage and the commitment and anxiety to move on with the COVID year. We weren't sure how it was going to happen, as Coach Mr. Burns said before, that there was a lot of new things out there, practicing with masks on, playing games with masks on, using the locker rooms, but only having 3 girls change at the same time. There's a lot of new things out there, but I will say this, it was strange, but I got to give the girls a lot of credit. Being the first team at Iron Middle School to compete this year, it was very challenging, and the girls showed a lot of commitment and a lot of hard work and a lot of trust in their coaches. So thank you for that. I want a big shout out to Mrs. Stevens. She did a tremendous job with testing our athletes every week, and I can't thank her enough for that. Also, a quick shout out to the technology department. They live streamed every home game for us this year. I can't thank them enough. I know for our season, parents were not allowed in, so at least the parents got to watch the videos of the games through the technology department. So thank you very much, Eric, especially. He was at every game this year. 7th grade girls basketball, we had a pretty good season. We finished up 3-3 this year. We beat local teams such as Plain Edge. We also beat Wisdom down the street, so we had a couple good wins, solid wins that way. It's hard playing basketball with a mask on. I know the spring sports, they got to take their masks off, but running up and down the court with a mask on is a little challenging. I know for me, coaching on the sidelines, running up on the side, I was out of breath, so I can't imagine the girls. We had a good season overall. They worked hard. They played very, very well, especially with the local teams. And thank you. It was a tough year, so thank you very much, girls. As far as my coaches award, so we have 3 awards here. The first one goes to a girl who, from day one, she answered every quiz question I asked her about basketball. I was asking her favorite players, rules of the game, and she knew every answer. Sometimes you can tell how well of a basketball player you have just by asking their general knowledge. This girl had amazing answers, and she played well for us. A little out of position. I know she's more of a power forward, but I asked her to play point guard, shooting guard, center, power forward, all around. And my first coach's award goes to Mecca Larazi. My second coach's award goes to, I say it nonstop, hands down, probably the best female athlete in the middle school. 7th grade, 8th grade, possibly the best athlete overall in the middle school compared to boys. She is a tremendous athlete. She runs like a deer. She's got hands that will intercept any basketball. She's amazing. I know that lacrosse is probably her best sport, but if she continues in basketball, she has a bright future ahead of her, and that's Ava Pinto. Yeah! And then my last, or Coach Valiendo and myself, last coach's award. No surprises here. I mean, she's like a scoring point guard, and she can score at will. She doesn't need for people to pass to her. She can create her own shot. And she brought us back pretty much in every game. So can't thank her enough for that. And her dad may say, stop shooting. Coaches kept saying, keep shooting, because everything went in. So this goes out to Kylie Bai as well.
Thanks, Coach Scooches. And Kylie, you were the one that the plate was misspelled, so we will definitely get that for you before the school year is over. I would now like to call up Coach Cooksey and Coach Alcon for the 7th and 8th grade wrestling team.
All right. So thank you for having me. This being my first year coaching, my first year at Island Trees. It was a great season, great experience. Everyone on the team made it a great year. And even with all the obstacles that we faced, it was just the team had an extremely successful season. Each wrestler put in a tremendous amount of hard work, dedication, and focus. And there was plenty of complaint about, plenty of excuses to be made, and we didn't have any of that. And I was truly blessed. So I can say, with everything that they could have been complaining about all year, the masks while wrestling, which seems crazy, the locker rooms, the buses, and we really had great mindsets throughout everyone on the team. The success that each of the student athletes showed and accomplished throughout the season was way beyond the wins and the losses and the scores of matches, because if you saw any of our matches or if you know any of our student athletes, it was way more than that. It wasn't about winning or losing. The things that they were asked to do, the situations they were put in, they just took it with a smile on their face and kept going, which was just all I could ask for as a coach. I know that myself, Coach Alcon, and Coach Jacobs, who couldn't be here today, was just really, truly impressed with everyone's hard work. So, going right into it, our first award winner is Joe Filcamo. And he never played as a team captain, but Joe took those qualities and embraced them from the start without being asked. He embraced the role and just took it day by day. And every single day, he continued to surprise me and the other coaches with his work ethic, never complaining and always
just striving to be better. And I think about halfway through the season, he mentioned that he'd only been wrestling for a year or two, and I was genuinely shocked and surprised because I did not, no one realized that. I would have never have guessed that from seeing him from day one. So that's Joe Belcamo.
Yeah, Joe.
Our second coach award goes to another athlete who showed extreme leadership qualities and took the role from the start without being asked. Every practice had a smile on his face from beginning to end. He was tasked with unreasonable expectations. He had unfair matchups in competitions and in practice. And he would just give me that look and I would give him the look and say, listen, it is what it is. This is the season. And he would just smile and roll with it. And he was just a tremendous competitor. Every match, whether he was giving up 10 pounds in practice, he gave him more than that. If he was tired, if he had 3 matches a day, he just didn't care and he just kept smiling through it. He took constructive criticism well, and he was one of our multiple undefeated wrestlers of the season. And that's Anthony Saragosa. And then our final award recipient, this athlete was just an absolute pleasure to coach this season. Just seeing him put a smile on my face. He was new to the sport. This was his first year. And he just had a drive where he didn't always know what he was doing, but he was doing it at 110%, which is all I could ask for. And his skills as an athlete have developed like crazy over the shortened season. And he was extremely respectful and coachable student athlete. Everything you asked him to do or told him to do, he was trying to do it the next time around. And then he was always just doing the right thing at the right time. Never had to worry about him. And he was always accountable for everything that he was asked to do. And that is Max Dyken.
Thank you, Coach C and Coach Alcon. I just do want to reiterate, Coach Spooches, Coach Alcon, Coach Cooksey, they were the first ones to venture into sports during COVID season. And we had no idea what to expect, and there were a lot of hurdles to overcome, and they did it wonderfully along with all their players. So thank you very much. And now I would like to call up Coach Mills and Coach Scanlon for the 7th. Before they present, I would just like to mention, and I'm sure they'll make reference to the fact that in a COVID pandemic year, our 7th and 8th grade football team went undefeated this season. And I'm going to just speak personally about this. The first game of the season against Plain Edge, we had no idea what to expect, but they came off the bus with about 60 guys, and we had our 30, and we beat them, and we beat them handily. And we played the likes of Plain Edge, and Burner, and who else? Bethpage, Plainview, all bigger teams, all teams historically very successful, and they either beat or tied all of them. And that is quite an accomplishment. And it got me to thinking, and because of that accomplishment, what we are now going to have hanging in our middle school hallway is a new plaque. Coach Mills and Coach Scanlon are seeing this for the first time. It's entitled Super Bulldogs, Undefeated ITMMS Sports Teams. And there are 3 plates on there. The first one being our 2017 girls lacrosse team, who went 8-0-1 under Coach Towers. Our 2017 football team, which went 6-0 under Coach Mills and Coach Scanlon. And now, and it's listed as 2020 because even though you guys played in 2021, it technically was the 2020 football season. 3-0-1, Coach Scanlon and Coach Mills, and this belongs to all of you guys, and it will be in the middle school hallway forever.
Good afternoon. As Mr. Burns said, Island Trees Middle School football undefeated. That's not easy to do. We started off the season, Mr. Burns gave us 30, but it was like 23 guys when players got off the bus with their 48 kids. And prior to that, previous to that, during the week leading into that game, of course, we said we're going to beat them, we're going to play hard, we're not going to give up. We know what they did last year. We actually lost about 3 players going into that first game. So now we have to reshuffle. And part of being on the team is sacrifice, teamwork. So we had a quarterback say, Coach, I'll play line. We had a running back say, I'll play line. Guys are volunteering to change their position just so the team would be successful. You know, that's an important part of playing sports, the teamwork aspect. Sports is supposed to teach you lessons. And one of the lessons I think we learned was that a David and Goliath lesson. If you want to maybe not sure what that is, we could Google it. It's the small guy versus the big guy. You go into a game and they got 50 kids and you have 23, of which 13 of them are 7th graders that never played football before. It's not looking too good. But you go out, you practice, you play hard, you listen to your coaches, you're in condition, you stick together, you don't blame anybody for mistakes. Lord knows it turns out your way, 27-0. It was the score of that Plain Edge. We all know Plain Edge usually loaded. They have a lot of good kids. They play in the youth, they play in the middle school, they play in the JV, and they're good on the varsity. This team shut them out and ran up and down the field like they weren't even there. And the officials came over, the coach and I said, Coach, you have a good team there, well disciplined. They follow directions and they're well coached. If anything that a parent or even another coach in whatever sport you might be in, you want the officials to say that about your team. We could say what we want, because we're on the inside. We'll be a little bit more subjective. We're influenced by emotion, but for someone on the outside who basically is supposed to be objective as an official telling you that, is like, that's a good feeling. And that lasted through the whole season. And then, at the end of the season, Mr. Burns had mentioned Vernon, which is back basically Massapequa. Massapequa is Division I. We're in like Division 4. I mean, it might be 4 or 5, but we're in Division 4. So we're not supposed to be in the game with them. 0-0 at halftime, and we thought we should have scored a couple of touchdowns. Then we're winning the game in the second half. It's like, oh, we can win this game. They come back, they tie us, and they're like jumping up and down, screaming. They're happy, we're celebrating. And we're a little bit down and out. We're kind of depressed, like, damn, that was our game. But in the past, I think it might have been the other way around. We would have been happy just to tie Vernon or Massapequa. But they were happy to tie us, which is like a testament to the team also, the way they play. We basically outplayed them. Maybe a lot of coaches say that in their losses, or ties. But I think our team outplayed them. They got something at the end. All right, so it was a great season. I think as the players will look back over the years, I think they'll realize the significance of it, the David and Goliath thing, sticking together, which is sports is supposed to teach you, those type of lessons, as well as the winning and the losing. And I'll give Coach Scanlon a brief amount of time.
Thank you, Coach. I'll keep it brief. Guys, wins and losses aside, it was just an outstanding season. I've been coaching football and lacrosse at pretty much every level from middle school to varsity since 2003. So I'm not even going to add all those up, but I don't know if I've ever had more fun being around a group of guys. It was absolutely excellent. The camaraderie that you guys showed each other, as Coach said, being willing to swap positions in certain games, some people getting more playing time than others, and other games that balancing out. And, I don't think anybody worked harder than we did, had a higher football IQ. And like Coach said, the number of compliments we got from members of the community, other coaches, referees, you guys were the talk of the town, right? And as much work as Coach Mills and I put in, it's all on you, right? So you should be really, really proud of that accomplishment. And again, an absolute pleasure to work with all of you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, so for our coaches awards, I'm just trying to see in the life I got the right ones. Yes, I did. Okay. So one of our team captains and a guy who just ran all over everybody all year. Again, can't say enough about him. I have a feeling he's going to be down here quite a few times today. Captain Phil, come on down. Next up is partner in crime, who did a lot of organizing of the offense and making sure things were running smoothly and the way they were supposed to. And of course on defense as well, blitzing through and disrupting a lot of plays, making a lot of things happen. We don't do anything with both of these two gentlemen. They go hand in hand, and that's AJ Saragos. Hey, and finally, a guy who's not often in the limelight as far as scoring touchdowns and picking up yards and getting in the stat book, but I've told these guys all year, we've been preaching it for many years, we don't go anywhere. These guys don't run for a single yard without the offensive line doing its job. And we had a real solid one this year. There's a couple of guys we could pick from. This was not an easy choice. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who showed a lot of leadership. Not always rah-rah in your face, grabbing face masks, but constantly doing the right thing, at the right time and coaching up his teammates when he needed to. And that's Jack Bucky.
Thank you, Coach Mills and Coach Stanley. I'd now like to call up the coach of our boys 8th grade soccer team, Coach Kaiser.
Can't see me. I just want to say, as far as the beginning of our season, we came out, my first meeting, and we had 5 athletes coming out for 8th grade boys soccer. By the time we got up to our first practice, we had 11. We borrowed a few from 7th grade, and we turned out to be a pretty good team. And I just want to thank also Coach Esposito, because we practiced together every day, and I think you guys had a really, really good time. I have my 3 coaches awards. First one's going to the guy that basically never played goalie and stepped up and volunteered for the season, Patrick Cullen. He still doesn't talk to me. My next award, if anyone knows this athlete, they know he's 100% heart, and he plays like that on the field. This award goes to Nick Dorenson. My last award goes to, this is definitely a coach's award in that first at practice, always to help out with equipment. Even gave me a wave on the way home every day. My next award, coach's award, goes to Harpreet Singh.
would now like to call up the head coach of the boys on the grade soccer team, Mr. Esposito.
All right, I'd like to thank the boys for a good season. I think we had a lot of fun. I think one thing that this season took away from is we had some new players, and we really didn't have enough time to get them involved and teach them the sport as much as we'd like to. But when it came down to the last game, I think everyone had a great time. We started off slowly, as Mr. Kaiser said. We had a couple players pulled up in the 8th grade team. We started off with some injuries and some players missing. And the first few games were tough, but I think we picked it up the last game where we had a nice big win. I believe it was 5-2. So by that point, everybody was having fun. My awards the first one goes to a player. When I woke up the first day thinking about the game that we had that afternoon, I wasn't thinking about what I was teaching that day. It was that we had no goalie. By the time the game ended, we settled on the goalie and a person who wanted to be goalie for a couple of games, and that's Ryan Mayberg. Okay, the next person, I think brought a lot of fun to the team. Whether it was chasing seagulls or worrying about the turtle in Wantua at the field, he wanted to take that turtle home. But when he also stepped up and played goalie, and I think when he was in, he made the game a little more exciting and fun, and that's Jaden Fleischer. And the last award goes to a player who just showed his leadership on the field every game. It didn't matter if we were losing the game or winning the game. He always put in 100%, and that's Genovio Byrne.
Thanks, Coach Esposito, and congratulations to our Coach Award winners. Unfortunately, our girls' 8th grade soccer coach, Mr. Goldberg, cannot be here today, but I am going to present the awards on his behalf. Before I do so, is Ms. Boswell still in here? Do you have your plaque, hon? Could you just give it to Ms. Collins? I want to make sure that we can put the plate on it and that we get the right one. Thank you.
Well, sure.
Okay, so again, due to a schedule conflict, Coach Goldberg cannot be here. He wishes that he could, but he did give me a little something to say about his Coach Award winners. This young lady provided and led the offense with her exceptional speed, her strong shot, and her tenacity. Jessica Press. Both of these young ladies were the backbone of the 8th grade girls soccer defense. They complemented each other very well, and they denied opposing teams numerous scoring opportunities throughout the season. The first of these two young ladies is Brianna McGowan. And the second of these two young ladies is Shaughnessy Lawler. I would now like to call the head coach of the girls' 7th grade soccer team, Coach Alexandra Hucker.
Seventh grade girls soccer team had such a fun and exciting season. The girls showed constant improvement, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. These girls always kept me laughing with their funny jokes and always kept World Cup Fridays fun and competitive. With that being said, the 3 Coaches Award goes to 3 girls who worked hard every single day. These girls played aggressively and never held anything back. First award goes to Trinity Fitzpatrick. The second award goes to Juliana Inzaudo. And the third award goes to Priscilla Portino.
Thank you, Coach Hucker. I would now like to move on to spring and call up Coach Scanlon for the boys lacrosse coaches.
Hey guys, just a quick note before I get into the lacrosse season. Football players, our shirts have arrived. Coach Mills has them boxed up for you. So before you leave today, we'll set ourselves up in the back where you picked up your plaques before you came in and make sure everybody gets their undefeated t-shirts. So on to lacrosse, you know, thinking about today and thinking back on the season, I wanted to start off by saying how disappointed I was that we lost last year, and I think it made such a big impact on the development of some of you current 8th graders who missed your 7th grade season. But then I quickly changed my mind because you guys who've been with me, and I'm sorry you're hearing it again, but I want everybody else to hear it. We're so lucky that we get sports in general. You know, you've heard me say it before. Certain people have to wait till middle school to play sports because they can't afford travel leagues. Some can't even play high school or middle school sports because they have to have a job to support their family or because they're disabled or something. So we should all be really lucky that we have sports in general and that we got them back when we did. Because as much as things losing the season, it could have been even worse. And thank you for everybody who made that possible, from Mr. Burns to Ms. Collins to Dr. Murphy to the ground crews and the bus drivers, and at home, I don't know where the camera is, but the parents too for getting their kids here all the time, especially if you're on a team like Coach Mills and I coach, when we're bringing in on Saturdays and Columbus Day and things like that as well. As far as lacrosse seasons go, this is definitely a sport where we kind of throw the records out the window in middle school because there's such a mix every year of what I'll always call the more experienced players and the less experienced players. Guys who are picking up the stick for the first time, and guys who've been playing since they were 5 years old. So this year we definitely had that, and the record was fine. 2-4 is good. We had some good games and some not so good games, but the development of the first timers was really, really amazing. And some of you guys came so far in such a short time. I just really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did as I enjoyed watching you develop, and that you're going to stick with it. And if you do, once we get the goalie situation figured out, we're going to have a really nice team for years to come. So I know varsity, I hope everybody's aware, varsity had a huge upset playoff win yesterday at Hicksville in overtime. They're playing again, Plain Edge. I believe it's Thursday. I'm not sure the time yet, but it'd be great if we got there and supported them. And that's what you guys are building towards. And if you keep doing what you did this season, you're going to get there. And next time we beat a team like that, it's not going to be an upset. It's just going to be us taking care of business. As far as the awards go, I'm going to do the first 2 awards together because basically everything I'm going to say about one, I'm going to say about the other one. I couldn't have done it this season without these 2 guys. it was an absolute pleasure to see how they handled themselves, because these are two of the guys who, as I said, have been playing for such a long time and were just so far superior in their skill level of lacrosse and their understanding of the game, that it would be very easy for them to have said, we're just so much better than this, we're gonna take the ball to the cage every time, I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm gonna yell and make fun of the players who aren't doing such a good job. And they were absolutely 100% the complete opposite of that. It was like having the assistant coaches that I've been asking for years on the team there. I could trust them to run drills if I wanted to do something with another group. I didn't even have to ask many times, and I would just hear them coaching up the other players, right, in certain drills if I was missing something or focusing on something else. And I told the guys all the time, listen to them. They're not being mean or thinking they know everything. They do know a lot, and they're coaching you in the right way. There's always a right way and a wrong way to do that. Both these guys did it the right way. In games and in practices, they also did something I really appreciate. And they made the passes and made the plays they were supposed to make, even knowing that there's a good chance that the person they're passing to or that they're making the play with is not going to successfully complete it because they're new. But those guys got to learn that they were doing the right thing. And they're not going to learn that if you're not passing it to them because they think you think they're not going to catch it. So bottom line is, I cannot say enough about these two. The effort they put in, the emotion they put into each game despite the score, and they're just excellent character and leadership that they showed all throughout the year. I can't say thank you enough. You guys know who you are. Ghosts and Bill. Let's go. Okay, partly because we wouldn't have had any wins or losses, or probably wouldn't have been able to play a game without this gentleman, and because these two guys insisted that I give this award to the boy I'm going to give it to. We have this issue, as you heard me mention earlier, at the higher levels. We always seem to have it at middle school. Nobody wants to step up and play goalie. My sales pitch is always, you're the center of attention, you guarantee playing time, and in lacrosse, you don't even have to make that many saves. Well, this young man was an experienced lacrosse player, decided to step up for the team, not play his normal midfield position, take on the role of goalie for the entire season. And what do you know? He was damn good at it. So you really never know until you try something. I don't think any team, and I think the guys will back me up, I don't think any team we played, any other coach we played, or referee would have believed me when I said, yeah, that's a kid who's never played goal in his entire life and has just picked up the goalie equipment for the very first time. So the effort level, the willingness to do that, I can't thank you enough. Mr. Purcell, come on down.
Thank you, Coach Scanlon. I'd now like to call up Coach Alcon, who will be presenting the Coaches Awards for the 8th grade baseball team.
On a similar wavelength to Coach Scanlon here, for the 8th grade baseball season, we did choose not to really focus on our record. This is a team that played in a lot of different travel leagues, throughout most of their lives, throughout most of their childhoods, and then some of them, are picking up a glove and bat for the first time. And so we say it's a lot less about the record at this point, and so much more about gelling together as a group, building our skills, coming together as a team, so that when we step up to JV next year, we have a really, really good experience there. Okay. On that note, I'd also like to extend a special thank you to the parents throughout the tough season. Our sidelines stayed full of positive energy and support at both home games and away games. So thank you very much to the parents. Okay. My players, throughout this challenging season, we showed up with a smile on our face every single day, and we put in the work, and we work hard in practice all the time. We cannot let the outcomes of our games and our scores affect our attitudes on the field during practices and throughout games. To me, that is a tremendous and outstanding example of maturity. I'm proud of this team and the improvements that we've made individually and just as a group overall. Okay? Just to kind of sum it up, our first 2 games of the season, we had 3 games in 1 week, and we could barely make it out of an inning in the very beginning of the season. And I said to the guys that after that, we have a choice. We have a choice if that's the team that we want to be throughout the season, or we could decide that that's not us, and we can turn it around and we can put in the work as hard as we can every single day, and that's all we can really do. And I really believe that that's what this group did. So we went from not being able to get out of an inning to actually hanging tough with some tough teams like Woodland, like Wisdom, Merrick, and even Grand Avenue, who I think we were probably going to get our first win of the season before the lightning struck, and unfortunately that didn't count. So tremendous improvements throughout the season for this team, and I'm very proud of you guys. Okay, my 3 coaches awards. My first coaches award goes out to a player who exemplified leadership and a fierce commitment to improving himself every single day. He always stayed after practices and games to talk about his swing and his defense and his feet. Coach, what can I do better? Why did I miss that one? And his hard work showed throughout his stellar defensive season at shortstop. That player is Nick Harris. My next award is for a player who changed positions throughout the year at the snap of a finger. He even stepped up and pitched a couple of games when he had very little pitching experience because we desperately needed arms to get us into games and get us to stay in games. Okay? He even filled in as a first baseman and worked hard to build his skills there, and he earned himself a spot in the starting lineup, and he earned himself the nickname Nicky Picks, and that player is Nick Rotino. Finally, my last coach's award goes out to someone who is an unstoppable ray of positive energy and support for the team. He's coachable, he's kind, and he can always be found encouraging his teammates, whether he was on the field, on the bench, or in practice. And my third coach's award goes to Joe Evans. And just lastly, I want to extend an honorable mention to James Downs, who knew from day one that an injury would prevent him from being able to play in any games. But he still showed up every day that he could, and he encouraged and supported the team. He kept the book for us. He showed up to our games. And so thank you, Coach Downs.
Thanks, Coach Alpine. Mr. Rotino, when you're done with that plaque, you just give it back. We'll make sure that plate is on there before the end of the year. I'd like to call up now the 7th grade baseball coach, Coach Roach. Mr. Roach!
Thank you, Mr. Burns. First, I just want to say great job to the guys this season. We finished with a record of 2-1-2. Very weird record for baseball. But these guys showed up every single day from day one, ready to work, ready to learn the game, and ready to get themselves to the next level of the game. Whether it was from picking up equipment at the beginning of practice, to leading the stretching lines, to being the first guy into bat, these guys were all ready to work every single day, and it showed when the game came around. We have 3 coaches awards this season. The first one goes out to our catcher behind the plate, a stellar defensive player behind the plate and very good offensively with the stick. Led our team all season, was always the first guy to pick someone up when they were down, and that's Richie Montalvo. The next coach's award goes out
to one of our best defensive players on the team and one of our best batters on the team as well. He was a leader in the classroom, on the field, and in the dugout all around. This guy always seemed to get up in times for a clutch hit and always came through for the team. And that's Griffin Sharkey. And last but not least, our third coach's award goes out to a guy who hustles on and off the field every single day and gives 110% no matter what he's asked to do. This guy is one of the only few who wears baseball pants every single day, even though shorts are allowed, especially even in 100-degree days of practice. I said, Phelps, what are you doing wearing pants? Man, everybody's wearing shorts. Coach, I gotta wear baseball pants. Gotta wear baseball pants. And that's Justin Phelps.
Thank you, Coach Roach. So the next set of awards will be our softball awards, and unfortunately, Coach O'Neill could not be here because of a work conflict, so I will be presenting on her behalf. Coach O'Neill did send a message. It was a great season despite all the changes we all had to face. Everyone did such a great job this season and gave it their all every game. I'm excited to see most of you back for next season. Good luck to all the 8th graders going off to the high school. Have a great and safe summer. Our 3 coaches awards go to the following young ladies. Brooke Kappa, Nicole Mazzallo, and Amanda Marie Noelani. I would now like to call up both Coach Kaiser and Coach Romer, who will present the boys and girls spring track awards.
Hi guys, I just want to start by letting you know that Mr. Kaiser is going to be retiring this year, and it's been a pleasure working with him. What do you call it? So he has coached, we figured out, and this is just a round number, I think we came up with 68 different teams at the middle school. That's a lot. That's a lot of kids, that's a lot of years, a lot of long drive homes, late at night in traffic, one sunrise highway to his house in Bayport. Anyway, so congratulations, Mr. Kaiser. It's a pleasure working with you.
I just want to say Mr. Roman is retiring as well. So congratulations. But thank you very much. I just have to say, as far as track goes, with all of the difficulties we had, I know we've been mentioning them all night. We had 32 athletes, and to get them in and out of the locker room and have them get ready, they were very patient, and they even asked us a very important question with track: do we have to run in track? Yeah, and they did very well with it. And they're really a great group of kids to work with. Just really nice group of kids. I'll do the boys first, and then I'll go to the girls. First award, Coach's Award, goes to Patrick Culp. He still doesn't go. My second Coach's Award goes to Gavin Reese. My last Coach's Award for boys is going to be for Harpreet Singh. We had a lot more girls on the team than boys, but it made it fairly difficult, but that doesn't mean that these girls do not deserve this award because they're always very enthusiastic. And one of the last meets we had in the season got canceled. And actually, I thought they were gonna hurt. But our coaches awards, first one goes to Kylie Kagan. Our next coach's award goes to Kayla Porter. And my last coach's award goes to Jillian Sanders.
I do want to acknowledge both Coach Kaiser and Coach Romer. They have contributed immensely to our middle school athletic program. They are, as they mentioned, retiring. They will be sorely missed, and there's a lot of years of coaching experience in going up the door. So I want to thank them for everything that they've done for us over all these years for middle school athletics. Thank you very much. That concludes our Coaches Awards. We are now going to move on to our last section of the awards ceremony where we give out our special awards to end the ceremony. I would ask if middle school principal, Mr. Dan Keegan, could please come up to the stage. And before I hand the microphone over to him, I would like to present our next award, which is a very special one that we introduced last year at our virtual ceremony. This award honors an Island Trees Memorial Middle School student who tragically lost his life in the summer of 2019 while riding his bicycle on Hempstead Turnpike. Andrew Alati played football and baseball for Island Trees, and he exemplified all of the qualities of a true bulldog: teamwork, sportsmanship, and respect for teammates, coaches, competitors, and officials. As a baseball player for Island Trees Memorial Middle School, he wore the number 4, so it is only fitting to combine his number with the values that he projected every day on the playing field. In naming this award, the Andrew Alati All for One Award. I want to thank the Alati family for their support as we select one male and one female 8th grader who represented the ideals that the Island Trees Athletic Program looks to foster in all of our Bulldog athletes, while reflecting the same values that made Andrew such a special young man. On behalf of the Alati family, Mr. Keegan, and myself, I would like to present the 2nd annual ITMMS Andrew Alati All for One Award to the following 2 students: Shaughnessy Lawler and Anthony Saragosi. Mr. Keegan. Good
Good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank Mr. Burns for putting together an amazing awards presentation. And beyond that, really coordinating athletics at the county level, at the state level, and then down to the county level. It was an immense lift this year for you as student athletes, as students first and athletes second, of course, for our coaches, what they put into this. But tying it all together is our Director of Athletics, Mr. Burns. So please join me in putting your hands together for Mr. Burns. Yeah, just a few words. I know the program is winding down, but I just want to share, and I've shared with individual groups of people, but I grew up in this town. I grew up in Island Trees. I grew up in Ripple Lane, all of about 3 football fields away right now. My heroes growing up, beyond my brothers and sisters, were the Island Trees Bulldog athletes. And I took a bus home from school every day when I was about 13, 14, 15 years old. And more than anything, when I came along Hempstead Turnpike, when there was no Stop and Shop and no Target, what I wanted to see were the flags of a soccer field. You could see the flags from Hempstead Turnpike through the cornfields. And I just knew that that was a game. I had good 2.5 hours that afternoon to root for the Bulldogs. And if it was a football Saturday, I could smell the hot dogs from where I was growing up, and I knew I was going to spend my afternoon watching football. And in the winter, if I wasn't playing basketball, I was in this gym watching one of my siblings play basketball. And this community matters that much, or mattered that much to me, and still matters that much to me. But I want you to know this. It matters to so many kids who are younger than you. And you're the student athletes. I heard so many great things from your coaches today. I see it every day. But I want you to think of this. When you put on that jersey, and I've spoken to you in the hallways of our school, when you put on that Bulldog jersey, you represent your school, you represent your family, your school, you represent this community. And I promise you that there is a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old, 11-year-old who is looking at you and saying, that's the guy I want to be like, or that's the girl I want to be like. I love the way he plays. I love the way she shoots a basketball. I like the way she responds when a referee blows a whistle, and it's probably not the right whistle, but the student athlete or the student can respond in a positive way. There are kids watching you guys every day. And I would ask you to take that with you, because it is a great responsibility, but with it comes so many great things. Being on a team, camaraderie, friendship, reaching for the stars, winning championships, all that is good stuff. But keep remembering the importance of teamwork. And mostly for today's message, just know that there is a kid watching you, wanting to be like you. Accept the responsibility of that and live accordingly and act accordingly and play accordingly. And because of that, the Bulldog cycle of success will just continue. You're a part of it, but you're going to make it stronger, because, man, what a year you had. On behalf of Mrs. Steele and all the teachers that work with you every day, we are so proud of you. We wish you every success moving forward, and just continue to rock it like Bulldogs. Keep believing in yourselves. You're going to do great things. Thank you all.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me just first off start by saying what a wonderful audience you were. And now we're going to get to the final portion of our awards ceremony by presenting our all-around athlete awards to a male and female 8th grade student. To let you know, these awards are determined by a vote of the coaches, by all of the coaches for the entire year. The names of the 8th graders are given to the coaches, and they are then selected for the best male and female all-around athlete. So without further ado, I present to you the Female All-Around Athlete Award for the year 2020-2021 goes to Brianna McGowan. The Male All-Around Athlete for 2020-2021 goes to Joseph Philocami. I just want to say how proud I am of everything that you accomplished this year. If you can do it this year, you can do it any year, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to do next year for Bulldog Athletics. Our ceremony is now concluded. Enjoy your summer and go Bulldogs.
Joe, you are so cute.
Coaches, if I could just ask some assistants and supervisors to get out on the front steps.